All right, welcome. We're live. Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. We'll give it a few minutes for people to jump on and join us. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're going to get started here in about 30 seconds or so. I'll just give it a few more seconds for people to jump on. So appreciate your patience. Just bear with me. All right, looks like we got some people joining on. So welcome. We're going to get started in about 10 seconds. We got some people joining on, so welcome. Just testing a live stream there. Looks like we're working. Okay, perfect. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Rod with Powell Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth for an MJ Sector review. Today is Wednesday, March 3rd, and we're going to jump right into it. So in today's live stream, we're going to be discussing HEXO's stock. So we'll go over their earnings. They're releasing their earnings on March 18th in the pre-market. So we'll go over a discussion on that, and we'll have an interactive discussion with everybody here on the live stream as well. But before we jump in, make sure to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate the support. So we'll go over some news and events, and then we'll go over the HEXO chart, the rest of the Canadian sector, and then the US sector as well. But we'll do a little bit of a deeper dive on HEXO, which is our stock of the day. You are welcome. So let's jump right into it. So HEXO Corp to release fiscal second quarter 2021 financial results and host investor webcast. You better believe I'll be joining that webcast. Let me know in the chat if you're going to be on that call. I am excited as ever for these earnings. I've never been more confident in a company in my entire life, but not allocating too much right now worth of capital. I'm just slowly scaling back in after I was scaling out into strength, and I bought a bit more today. We had some weakness today, and I think that is a gift. The more we pull back into earnings, though, the more we're probably going to just rocket if they beat estimates, which I think they're going to, in my opinion. So they plan to release its financial results for the fiscal quarter 2021 before market hours on March 18th, 2021, which is Thursday. So 2 weeks from tomorrow. So as well as the host of the webcast for investors beginning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. So there are the details. You can go to HEXOCORP.com and click on press releases, and then it'll bring that up, and you can pre-register for that event. But we will see you on there. Columbia Care pre-announces Q4 revenue at $76 million and sees pro forma 2021 revenue in excess of $500 million. So making the Canadian companies look like, chumps, but as we know, they have 10 times the amount of people, and it's a lot more dense. And in Canada, we know that retail has been slow to roll out. So a lot of people are bearish on Canadian LPs. I get it. That was a slow rollout. It was basically not their fault, though. I've talked to people in the LPs. I've talked to people who run these retail shops, and it's not their fault. It's Health Canada. If you want to blame somebody, blame Health Canada. So let's take a look at the charts. So HEXO is still in a daily downtrend, but essentially we're back within the equilibrium. So we had the high, low, lower high, lower low, downtrend confirmed, but we came back within that range for another lower high, higher low, lower high, another bear break, But is this just the fake out before the breakout, so to speak? And just taking a look at that, it's not the most clear inverse head and shoulders on the daily, but the psychology is there. The neckline isn't as horizontal, but if we ignore that little piece here, the psychology is there. And once we get this daily bounce underway, so right now we have support at 660 on the daily. We did have support here at 693, but we lost it. We got to 686. So we did go stop loss hunting on that support level, but ultimately we saw a upper wicket profit taking. My broader market video yesterday is a pullback coming? And we're just following SPY. So I was talking about SPY in that broader market video. The title of the video was, is a pullback coming? Is SPY daily consolidation needed? And sure enough, today SPY saw daily consolidation and MJ saw daily consolidation as a result. So if you're wondering why MJ was so weak today, that is why. But yeah, Labs, TGOD, NSP leading the decline on the bull list. We had PWR as the only one in a big sea of red. But daily consolidation on all of these names for the most part, after we saw those upper wicks, and red flag, huge red flag when APHA was up about 12% yesterday, then straight into a red day. That was notable. And SPY still in a daily downtrend. It was showing all the clues that daily consolidation was likely coming. And like I said, I knew not to go too heavy on any of these MJ names yesterday because SPY was likely due for consolidation, and that's what we got. So Hexo, what do I think here? We're attempting a daily trend change. So we have the low, high, higher low. We need to break above the high here, which would be at 806. So if we can break above 806, that will give us a low, high, higher low, and higher high. We'll change that daily trend back to an uptrend. And then there's nothing really here until resistance up at 921 and then the recent high of 1104. But keep in mind, I mean, Hexo is still trading at a very, very low price to earnings ratio and multiples as its peers. And if we look back to all-time highs, like the fundamentals and the technicals of Hexo are improving big time. We were getting over EMA 26 there on the monthly. So that was a big, big, big step. But last month we saw a reversal candle here, ultimately closed back below. So if we can close this month above that white line, we could even see a potential bull cross of those EMAs. We've got the volume uptick here as well. But we've got a lack resistance here up until all-time highs. And I mean, personally, I like Hexo as my favorite LP. I like them better. I like their products better than any other LP. And I think that they deserve to be in the tier one and up there with the rest of its peers. And with APHA, I mean, APHA set a new all-time high and CGC got up to the all-time high. That's why I wasn't interested and I was scaling out of those positions, is because it's a very, very different situation when APHA goes to a new all-time high and CGC tests all-time high. ACB is still very, very far away, but I have no interest in ACB. Wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Hexo, love their products, love the company, love the fundamentals, love the technicals. And this is a name that I think is worthy of a look at. Whether or not you want to play earnings, it's completely up to you. I've been in a position since the low, $3-4, and I've been averaging in. So I've, made over 100% gains on my initial investment. And I've since scaled out into strength, and then I scaled out into weakness here. And I'm okay. I'm going to be riding profits through earnings. So I'm okay either way. I'm not going to be risking any of my hard-earned money. It's just going to be profits that I'm riding from a free trade. So I'll probably swing, 2,500 or 5,000 shares worth of the profit. And I'm okay with either way. But ultimately, it's a long-term hold. And if other names are going to all-time highs and beyond, that's almost a 400% move here on Hexo if it were to just go back to its all-time high from these current levels. And if it pulls an APHA, which I saw an article not too that long ago about how it said that Hexo and Afria were going to be the leaders in the Canadian space, and I think that's true. Canopy, just not a big fan of what they're trying to do. They're just burning money, and talks about them potentially raising $2 billion. Maybe they're going for a buyout, but I don't know. It's just, I don't like that business model, being the biggest and owning the most square footage, producing and cultivating the most. No, I don't care about that. We know that there's supply issues, there's shortages, or there's no shortages, there's oversupply issues, right? So we're not concerned about who can be the best. We want to know who's the best at generating profit and innovating. And in my opinion, HEXO has been at the forefront of the innovation from the get-go. They brought the value brand, so they brought the cheap 28 gram ounces. They were first to market with the hash. They were the first to really release their drinks, and they instantly went to number one in that category. So they're just seeing all these different types of new innovations that are just leading the market. And they were also not focused on being the biggest and expanding. And then you look at the last couple of years, you see Aurora selling their facilities for pennies on the dollar what they bought it for. So in my opinion, Sebastian St. Louis, the CEO, he understands the market, he understands the industry, and even better yet, he understands the consumer. Like everybody, like everyday people like you and me who smoke or consume cannabis, he understands them very, very well. And I feel very comfortable in holding this stock. So that's my 2 cents. Went on a little bit of a rant there, but again, I just want to really hit home that my situation's a little different running into these earnings because I'm using profit. So if you're entering fresh here, maybe you want to set a stop loss to protect those, from downside. SPY is in a daily downtrend. We could be seeing some significant weakness in SPY for the first time in a very, very long time. The tech sector is very weak, and we haven't saw weakness in the tech sector since back in March, and it's been leading the whole market higher. So if we start to see prolonged weakness in SPY, that could obviously have an effect on HEXO's price. But what I would like to see is us pull back to about $6.60 to $6 range, give back all of this move, shake out all those final people who are going to sell, and then get close to daily oversold, get the SPY sell-off out of the way. And then the more we pull back, the more we rip into earnings. I'm expecting between 40 and 50 million for revenue for the quarter, and that will have all of the Truss beverages on the books. So there'll be a full 3 months of Truss beverage sales. Keep in mind, they only own about 48% of that joint venture with Molson Coors. They own the majority, so HEXO only owns the minority of that deal at 48%. But still, they also just launched drinks in Colorado, the CBD drinks. So this is going to be huge. You guys think you think these numbers are going to be big in this next quarter? Wait until a year whenever they get their international presence and they're selling Truss beverages in Mexico and Europe, and you're not even going to know what hit you. But again, this isn't financial advice. Do your own research. All investments have risks. This is for entertainment purposes only. So personally, I think they're going to destroy earnings. I think they're going to come in at around 40 or 50 million. And if they acquire Xena, which is likely going to go through, in my opinion, a 99% chance it goes through, I would say, if I had to guess. And if that does happen, they'll be probably pushing 60, 70 million a quarter in revenue. And just to give you some perspective, Kron's only pulling in 17 million, but yet everybody considers them a tier one company, which they're not. I don't care what anyone says. If you're only bringing in $17 million, you are not a tier one. You are a tier two. I think there's some other like OGIs like right there, and everybody just talks about Kron like it's the best thing since sliced bread. I just don't get it. I like one product of theirs, and that's it, and that's the diesel. But I mean, one product for a whole brand, for a whole line of brands and company, I don't see it. So personally, I like HEXO. I think they're going to crush earnings, and just wait until we see over 100 million in revenue a quarter after the Xena merger goes through, if it goes through, if and when. But we could see a huge beat, and we're on way to EBITDA positive. So if we get that EBITDA positive, and then next quarter we turn EPS positive, we're now generating over 100% year-over-year growth or sequential growth. The run rate is now $2 billion a year in Canada. We see the government ease restrictions. We see HEXO come out with new products like they say they're going to be releasing sometime in the next couple of months. They also been in talk with another Fortune 500 company outside of the beverage space. So what happens if they sign a deal with a Nestle or somebody like that with chocolates, or Coca-Cola for CBD drink? Who knows, right? These are all things that could happen. And again, this isn't to pump it. The fundamentals have changed significantly. And if you're sleeping and you go sleeping on Hexo, you're going to miss it, because it's what happened last time. I told people in the summertime, now's a good time to buy, now's a good time to buy, now's a good time to buy. And then up here, everybody's like, what's a good price to buy Hexo at? And, I just almost want to just tell them to not buy it at all. And I've been recommending it from all the way down here at $2 for months and months, and no one cared at that point. And then now, once we've run 100% or 200%, people want to buy in. So it's always a risky game when you're buying in. But we are getting close to this 10-week moving average. So we did come off a huge move, but we're looking for this weekly high or low. And so far, we're holding that 10-week moving average. The MACD is still bullish, but on the way to crossing bearish, and the stochastic has already been trending lower. But we did top out right at the 200 weekly moving average. We pulled back from the 100 weekly moving average, and here we are now looking to form that higher low, but still well above the 50 weekly moving average. But ultimately, we're holding the 50-day moving average as well, so that's extremely important that we hold the 643. So remember, I said there's support at 660, 650 psychological, and the 50-day at 643 is absolutely imperative that we hold that level. So if you are looking to go long into earnings, maybe you wait, see if we see more SPY weakness. Maybe you added a bit today. Maybe you scale in a little bit tomorrow if SPY's weak. And if we see SPY really weak and a prolonged pullback on the weekly or anything like that, maybe you look to add it closer to 650 or this higher low down here around $6. So maybe you wait for a flush of the 50-day moving average. A lot of people probably have stops there. We also had support at 660, so a stop under 650 would also put us underneath that daily support and the 50-day moving average, so they could go stop loss hunting. If I was a little bit more bullish and willing to, allocate more risk to the trade, I'd probably set it under $6. But personally, like I said, I'm just using profits at this point. I don't care. I'm a long-term holder, and I'm just reloading cheaper, but ultimately I'm holding for the long term. And the MACD is trending lower in a hurry, but again, just SPY weakness is the reason for this. We're also rejecting at the 20-day moving average, which I found notable. So if we can get over that $8 mark and this resistance here at 806, we've got a lack all the way up to 921, and then, like I said, $11. So taking a look at the weekly, we're still well above the weekly moving averages and the weekly VWAP. So very, very strong chart. I'm going to go get me some molos and some little victories after this. I'm getting a little dry. So like I said, sea of red out there today. We'll just take a quick peek at some of these names, but it's essentially the same story. Everybody topped out around the EMAs on their daily bounce, and now we're in daily consolidation looking for daily higher lows. And CGC, you could say we technically changed the trend there with the low, high, higher low, higher high, but then ultimately failed bull trap, came back down and straight into daily consolidation. So a little bit of a red flag there. And CGC's definitely been weak. APHA definitely been the strongest Canadian lead MJ bull. You can see we're just barely losing EMA 12, and CGC couldn't even get above it, or 26. So moving on, we'll take a look at we'll leave some questions for the end as well, as I know a lot of people are probably wondering what they should do with HEXO. We've got about 2 weeks, so we'll do a little bit of a Q&A and some preparation for you folks to try and help you guys as much as possible, and get our game plans in order for the next 2 weeks, because that's going to come a lot quicker than you think. But MSOS, we had a daily consolidation day. So again, just following SPY, everything's following SPY. We all topped out around the same time. We had a daily inside bar that broke bearish. So once we lost 49.07 today, you would have saved yourself about 40 cents of downside if you would have exited on that inside bar bear break. But we are still holding EMA 26. So holding up better than most names, like a Canopy, for example. On the bull and bear list, we had MGNA, TAUG, and GRWG. On the bear list, on the bull list, we had KBEV, Harv, Truel, Acreage, CL, GTII. So, KBEV, I'm all out of KBEV, but it is making a statement. I was looking for these inside bars to break bearish, and with the rest of everything else, daily consolidation, I thought for sure it was going to follow through, but I would like another position around 12 cents or 13 cents. I bought it back here at about 5 cents and sold it at, I think it was up almost 300% at one point. So cashed that out, and then I rebought here at near 11 support, and then sold it again here around 17. I've just been flipping it, but didn't expect us to go up about 300% there in such a short time. So we'll just take a quick look at some of the LPs, or sorry, the lead MSOs. CL definitely stronger, didn't even start daily consolidation yet today, breaking to a new higher high. Closed near the low of the day though, so we could see daily consolidation tomorrow, just a little stronger, but a bit of a laggard. Cura daily consolidation, so that increases the chances that CL sees it tomorrow after closing near the low of the day as well. GTII standing out as strong as well, still closed over the high yesterday and nowhere close to the EMAs. It's truly looking like it's up over 2%. So yeah, we're seeing the lead US MSOs, so Trulieve, GTII, and CL. Cura leading the weakness there amongst the big wigs, but yeah, already starting daily consolidation following SPY's lead. All right, so we'll take a look at some questions here. So thank you. Yeah, you're really welcome. No problem at all. Glad you found value in it, and that's why I started doing more of these live streams, just to give you guys as much out of this as possible. So good time to buy the dip. Yep. So we could see more of a pullback. Absolutely. All about 660 support and $6 in my opinion. I'll be looking to average in. Like I said, I was averaging out on the move up around $10, $11. Unloaded some at 7, unloaded some at 8, unloaded some at 10, unloaded some at 11, and now I've just been scaling back in ever since. I live right here in the Ottawa area, so I'm biased. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Ottawa, the Quebec area, they're all over Alberta now. Like Alberta, Nova Cannabis is rebranding their Nova Cannabis as Value Buds. So guess who brought the Value Buds to the market? HEXO. And now Nova Cannabis, which is a huge retail player, they've got stores like every 10 kilometers in Edmonton and the rest of Alberta, but they are rebranding 80% of their stores to Value Buds. And yeah, HEXO is all over the place. I've talked to people who live in BC. They said HEXO is blowing up out there. I think everybody's going to be really surprised about what HEXO is going to do. Cura first to report March 9th. Yep, can't wait to see that. I've got them in my long-term position, no touch position. So in my long-term, I'll just bring up my portfolio. I posted it in the community. So POW portfolio. So I said I'm about 70% cash in stocks, 50% cash in crypto portfolio. Long-term, no touch, gold, Uber, TAP, MSOS, HEXO, CL, Cura. Short, medium term, HEXO, BAM, Love, TGOD, Xena, N, MVMD, CHV. Hedging with SPXS, SQQQ, FNGD, and crypto. I'm all out of Bitcoin and Ethereum. All those I bought them at like $600, and I bought Bitcoin at around 9,000. So selling over 50,000 and selling around 2,000 on Ethereum, sure, I'll take that and run for the hills, look for the next thing. Thank you. So all out of crypto, mostly cash in both accounts. So there's my holdings. So I like BAM for long-term hold. I like HEXO for long-term no touch, Cura, CL, and MSOS. Not super sold on Trulieve. They just got a bad rep with that whole RICO case, and I've never seen any closure on that. I'm okay. They're in my MSOS, so I'll hold a little bit of them in there. And if they do ever get investigated or, some truth comes up in the future about any of that being true about her husband, then if there's any shady activity that flowed into the business of Trulieve, then I'll be hedged because it'll be part of a managed portfolio with advisor shares who offer the MSOS ETF that tracks all the big MSOs in the United States, all the big cannabis companies in the States. So I'll own a little bit of it in there, and I'll have a piece of other things, but the ones that I'm really sold on in the US is CL and Cura. What's everyone's price target for the next 3 months? Yeah, great question. Maybe everybody type in the chat, what's your price target for Hexo within the next 3 months? I'm going to say $12, $12 to $15. It all depends, right? If we'll know more here on these earnings, obviously, but if they come out with, it's really going to depend if they're EBITDA positive. If somehow by the, skin of their teeth, they pull out EPS positive, oh my God, it would just explode. It would absolutely explode. And then with the Xena acquisition or merger, if they come in at like 50 million, if they beat, I think they're forecasted to come in at like 30 some million. Let's just check it out real quick. And we'll look at the Canadian ticker because I usually track the US one, but most of the reports are calculated in Canadian dollars. So we're expecting 32 million Canadian. So I'd say it's going to surprise people, and we're probably going to get for sure high 30s in my opinion. Not sure on the EPS. We could miss on EPS. It's forecasting negative 0.049. So maybe we come in at negative 0.05 or negative 0. Or maybe we beat on that, but we're still negative. That could be an option as well. I would say that's probably the most likely scenario, given the, I listened to Trent McDonald and Sebastian St. Louis on multiple calls and interviews, and, they're just like, oh my God, our revenues are going to explode. They've been, just the amount of percentage increase that we've seen in such a short time. He's like, we're never going to have to raise money ever again. They seem 100% confident, and maybe they know something we don't, and by law they're not allowed to say anything. So I think we come in at an EPS beat and a revenue beat. I think it's going to be a blowout. But again, this is not financial advice. It could go either way. They could post a loss. They could have impairments, or right. Who knows? I don't think that they would. I think that's why we had that terrible earnings before when the EPS came in at negative 1.6. That just tanked it there in October. And I think that was because they were getting those impairments out of the way, getting the write-downs out of the way, and then now it's just smooth sailing to the profit land, to the promised land. And yeah, I think we come in. My guess, you heard it here first. I'm gonna anticipate an EPS of negative 0.025, maybe even 0. Yeah, I'll go with 3. So negative 0.03. And I'm going to forecast 39 million in revenue. That's what I think. And if they beat that, great. But let me know what you think. What do you think the revenue and the EPS is going to be? And yeah, what do you think the price target is over the next 3 months? Be interested to hear from everybody. I enjoy interacting with you, so let me know. But yeah, imagine when we get Xena under their belt as well, and we get an extra 20, 30 million in revenue, and then we start selling Truss beverages over international in Europe, in Mexico, through Colorado, and the Molson Coors joint venture, which they're already selling. That's at multiple locations. You can go on the Truss CBD US website, and you can see all the store locations that are offering it, and they said on a conference call as well on the conference that Hexo attended not too long ago. I think it was the ICR conference. But anyway, they posted, or he mentioned that the drinks are rolling out. He doesn't think it will be too long before they are number one. Numero unos. So, numero un. King Hexo. I should change my username to King Hexo. I really should. Because it's going to be king. I just got a glimpse of the Lion King. Hexo can't wait to be king. Oh, it's happening. I'm super confident. Never been more confident. And again, if I'm wrong, don't care. I'm riding most profits through earnings anyways. And it's really going to depend on SPY as well going into it. But we're seeing a lot of weakness in SPY, so this could be good. We were looking at March 31st for HEXO earnings, and then they bumped it up to the 18th. So imagine if they, if they kind of knew that the market was going to be weak, and it's like, oh, well, maybe we try to get it out as soon as possible. So what I would like to see is us come down here on SPY, fill, some of these gaps, and just healthy. We've just gone too much. Like on the weekly RSI, we're finally cooling down now. Right? And on the monthly, we've got this bearish. This is looking bad. This is looking really bad. After this HEXO earnings, I'm going to be very, very selective and cautious. And like I said, my stock portfolio is about 70% cash right now. And in crypto, I'm about 50% cash. And I'm just holding XRP and XLM, so I'm not holding like Bitcoin. It's crazy, And same with stocks. 70% cash in stocks. I'm about 20% or 15% short SPY and QQQ, and the rest long MJ essentially. But you can see here that in the .com, I just want to bring this. It's not super MJ related, but it kind of is because MJ could get impacted by this. But look in the 1996, right before the tech bubble, we peaked on the monthly RSI right around the same freaking spot as we are right now. So look right there, perfect. Now, history doesn't always repeat, but I mean, there's a very good chance that this could have some follow through or some truth to it, because we topped out in 1996. But the price, so we had this monthly bearish RSI divergent. RSI tells us whether or not an asset is overbought or oversold. This line right here is considered 70 and it's considered overbought. This is 30 and considered oversold. We're heavily monthly overbought in 1996 on the S&P 500. For 4 years, we went up in that .com bubble, in the tech bubble, and then it finally burst 4 years later. Right? How many people were bearish? No, we're down, we're going down. 4 years later, the markets can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. Absolutely. And then we had a 2-year prolonged bear market where we went from 4 years to finally crack and diverge on the RSI. And then we went monthly oversold, 2 years of pullback. Same thing here. When did we peak? In 2017, the end of 2017, start of 18. Look at how long has that been? 2018, the beginning of 2018 to the beginning of 2021, that's 3 years. So it could happen a lot sooner than you think, and it could also happen a lot later than you think, right? It took 4 years last time, between 3 and 4 years. We're right between 3 and 4 years right now. And again, it's not to make everybody fearful, and it's not to say that, cannabis stocks can't go up, but personally, I want to get these HEXO earnings out of the way ASAP, see some stellar results, and then just de-risk like you wouldn't believe. Because if we follow this megaphone pattern on SPY, and it's happened 3 times now, if it happens again, we could be heading down to like 200 or the 250s. Even the middle of that megaphone pattern would be around the 280s. So that's a long ways away. Imagine and is that something you're prepared for? If you're holding MJ, are you prepared for a 10, 20, 30% drop in SPY, even a 40% drop in the S&P 500? I don't know. We're seeing bubbles galore everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if we came down here and touched 230. Like I wouldn't even be, I wouldn't even put it past the people that are running the world and would 100% just expect that. and they wouldn't think twice about it. The people who, and I'm talking, who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the GOV. You think they're printing trillions of dollars without knowing what's happening? You don't think they know that they're creating bubbles? Absolutely. So, got off on a rant there. Got a couple more questions. 16 to 32. Whoa, that's a 100% gap. But yeah, mine, I'd say 12 to 15 in the next 2 to 3 months. And then, yeah, all-time highs. I could see all-time highs sometime by the end of 2021. Absolutely. What about high tide? Yeah, high tide, not that interested in their company, to be honest. I read what they did. I guess they're in the retail space, but not the most self-explanatory business model. But yeah, earnings reaction was bad. SPY was bad. We've just been daily consolidation for the last couple of days, just following SPY. So EMA 12 right there, though, so we could be forming a higher low. And we've got a ton of room here to form a daily higher low. We were in a daily downtrend, but we could pull all the way back to 56 cents, just be looking for a higher low on the daily, and then we'll want to break above resistance here at 95 cents. If we can form this higher low, break above 95 cents, that will confirm a daily uptrend, and then we're likely heading back to 113. If we lose EMA 12 going into tomorrow and continue daily consolidation, we're likely heading to EMA 26 around the 70-cent mark. If we lose 70 cents, likely head into 56 cents. But 50 cents should be a nice support, I would think. And again, if SPY ends up falling off a cliff, that could change things and we could get extreme. But I like it around 50 cents for support and definitely for entries as well. But again, I don't know enough about the company. It's been around for a while. It's been around, yeah. So that's on the TSX. I'm not sure how long high tide has been around. It is not finding it. Anyway, oh. No. Anyway, someone put in the chat there. I don't know. I'm just going off of I'm not really into the small caps a whole lot. I mean, I was into HEXO when it was a small cap. I mean, it was just at like 500 million not too long ago. Now we're over $1 billion valuation again. But you know, they were top one, a top tier one, LP, and they were only at 500 million in market cap. So I don't know, SNDL, even them, like, you know, it's such a competitive space, and with all the mergers and acquisitions like Aphria and Tilray and now HEXO and Cannabis and Acreage and Canopy, like who's the Sundial gonna get? And like now their competition is just, you know, they're just gonna get squashed, and they're only a couple years old. They got a lot to prove. I mean, Sundial could hit it big, but I'm just, you know, I'm very much interested in companies that I'm confident in. Like when I was holding 6 figures in HEXO from the summertime, I slept like a baby. Like I didn't care. Like even when they had that impairment charge and the stock crashed like 20% after earnings. Let's go back. It was like right here, something like that. Or that was in the summertime. Yeah, June. So it was in October. Yeah, it's like right around here. So we were at like 318, then we went all the way down to 232, huge gap down like 20%. And that hurt, but I bought. And I continued to buy and average down. And like I said, I was fine with it. I didn't care. I knew that it was going to go up. And from that earnings reaction, up almost 400%, right? So buy low, sell high. All the analysts are saying, oh, HEXO's terrible. Everybody's saying HEXO's terrible, but they're asleep. They're obviously asleep. Their products are fantastic. I buy them all the time. I don't buy any other products from any other LPs, really, just to try them, but I've never really gone back and bought more. HEXO's, I'm having trouble to stay away from the from the dispensary, like the retail shops. They got Molos now for $3. I mean, oh man, I'm almost there every day now. So it's completely different. not a big fan of high tide, but yeah, this earnings reaction is bad. Could see a bounce here off the daily EMAs, but could be setting weekly lower highs here as well and headed back down to the 50-cent mark. That's just way too much risk for me. And I don't know enough about the company personally to say a long-term hold. They just had earnings and they were pretty good earnings, but the market didn't really like it and SPY's been weak. So we'll see if SPY gets a good bounce going, if high tide, sets this daily high or low and changes the daily trend. But like I said, a little closer to all-time highs, here than most names. So that's why I like HEXO for the long term and good entries right here. Like, yes, we're a long ways away from 11, but the all-time highs are way up at $33. Like, mark my words, here in a couple of months, you're just going to see boop, and you're going to see all the news like when you see news coverages now, HEXO's tier 1. They're making more money than Cron. Cron made 17 million and then HEXO made 32 million. Now they have Xena. So, and Cron has Altria. So what's that about, right? So why are all the media, why is all the CNBCs of the world pumping Cron? It's because that is the one they're trying to get out of those now. They're trying to get out of those. They're selling their Cron, and it just takes them a really long time to get out. So they're pumping it up. Why do you think they don't say HEXO in there? It's because they're buying it. They're saying, no. Don't say anything about HEXO. We haven't finished our positions yet. We need to sell that crappy Cron that we got in our bags and, dish that out to retail. So if CNBC says buy Cron, you probably do the opposite because it's our contrarian indicator. So you get out and you buy HEXO. Wait until they're all pumping HEXO and you're going to be like, what? Why are they talking about HEXO all of a sudden? Like, they were talking about how terrible it was. They weren't making any money. And then you're going to, everywhere you go, it's going to be HEXO. I can guarantee it. And you're going to be like, why was I asleep for 5 years? And just as a reminder, HEXO was like the 13th LP in Canada. Like, Canopy had like a 3 or 4 year head start. And they also had a 6-month head start on their drinks. And HEXO, within like a couple months, was just like, see ya. Took ¡1 position in that category. Never looked back. Canopy sucks, in my opinion. Sorry for my bitterness, but their products aren't very good. They've got a couple good things, but for the most part, flop. High tide is in Calgary. Yeah, it is. I know it's in Calgary. I just didn't know how old it was. I'm pretty sure Sundial's out of Calgary as well. What do you think of the Xena HEXO conversion rate? Have you been buying more Xena? Yep, I've got like 50,000 Xena shares, I think. Between like 25,000 and 50,000. I think it's close. I think it's like 40,000. The only problem with that is yeah, it's at a huge discount. And that discount's shrinking because people are taking advantage of that arbitrage opportunity. But for the most part, I'm holding mostly HEXO. I've got maybe 10%. So if I consider Xena and HEXO the same investment, I've got probably 20% in Xena and 80% of that equivalent dollar value goes into HEXO directly, because we still don't 100% know it's guaranteed. And if Xena bails out or somehow can't follow through on the deal, they'll get charged $6 million, which they're not in the greatest financial position as it is. So that could obviously, if the deal fell through, Xena would tank, right? In my opinion. That's what I think would happen anyway. I'm long Forefront Ventures. Right on. I don't know who they are. Forefront. Let's take a look at the CSE. I don't know where you're long from, but we're at all-time highs. I certainly wouldn't be buying up here. I'd be selling and running for the hills, actually. We've had the monthly bull cross. We're right at resistance, huge upper wick. Last month, no consolidation from all the way down here at 67. Yeah, I wouldn't, me as a new person looking at this, I have no interest in entering. I might consider an entry around $1.30, $1.50, maybe. But I know absolutely nothing about that company. But hopefully you're in from like $1 or below and you're sitting profitably and no major red flags. We are in a daily downtrend, but ultimately, big picture on the weekly, it's you can see those weekly wicks forming too. I'd be cautious here. We're still in a weekly uptrend, but look at the RSI, up over 80 on the weekly, and monthly overbought as well. Yeah, it's that's going to come crashing down 20, 30, 40% at some point. So just be cautious, especially with SPY week. Oh man, now's not the time to get your complacency pants on. $11 to all-time high sounds good for next 3 months. Yeah, we'll take it. I was just thinking around 12, and I was also hoping for news for the U.S. regarding MJ. Yeah, so we could see safe, more progress on safe here mid-March. So there's a lot of catalysts. There's HEXO's new products that they're coming out with in the next couple of months. Hopefully, they could have a new Fortune 500 partner outside of the beverage category. They could go EBITDA positive. They could go EPS positive. We could have Safe Banking Act and uplisting into the U.S. We could have reform. We could have legalization, which would allow, through the joint venture with Molson Coors, for them to start bringing other states online like they've already started to do. We have international expansion through Xena now. And with Molson Coors, they're already advertising in Mexico. Wait till you see Mexico, Europe, Canada, U.S., Germany, like France is legalizing. There's going to be 2021 is going to be the wave of legalization, in my opinion, if not 2022 at the latest, in my opinion. But yeah, we're in for some massive amount of catalysts. Also, U.S. or the Canadian government is revamping the Cannabis Act to allow more dosages in single packages and to potentially buy more than 5 molos. Maybe we can buy 6 packs or 12 packs, just like beer. And they're also talking about in Ontario, they're ramping up retail locations, but they're also talking about easing the restrictions by summertime. And of course, the whole situation with the economy is going to have an impact on that. But if we're able to go outside again and do stuff, if we're allowed to leave our house and go do things again, then we'll expect to see potential cannabis infused beverage at bars or restaurants or venues or events like concerts, things like that. And if that were to happen, oh man. I know everybody's saying LPs suck, LPs suck, LPs suck, and I agree, they suck, but that's because the Health Canada has made them suck because they're strapped, right? They're tied, their hands are tied, they can't do anything. And yes, the rollout was slow on some of their part as well. Like, it's not all attributed to Health Canada, in my opinion, but I'd say 80% of it has been. And then the government in Ontario, slow to roll out retail. So like, talk about dropping the ball, right? So if you're going to don't hate the player, hate the game. And that's the game's fault, not the player. And don't think it's going to be like that forever, right? Don't stick your head in the sand and just LPs suck. They sucked once, they're going to suck forever, right? That's not true. There will be some that'll go to zero, but there's some that are going to do well because of international expansion. What if they get sales in Europe? It's time to have an open mind and look outside of the box. What happens if hundreds of more retail locations get pumped out, right? Like, it's only up from here in my opinion. We're seeing last month's Stats Canada, huge increase in the all-time high in terms of adult use cannabis sales. So we're trending in the right direction. Then try and play short term, but we'll hold next for at least another year. Yep. As long as you have a plan. 35 to 40 rev. Yeah, I said 39. So pretty much right in the middle of that, QC. Hexo, not neck. Okay, that makes sense. Hold Hexo for at least another year. What is Hexo expectation? I'm expecting a beat on EPS, but still negative. and I'm expecting positive EBITDA, and I'm expecting somewhere like QC said in between the vicinity of 35 to 45 million. On the high end, I think we could see close to 50 million. We'll see. I don't think so though. I'd say going to come in probably around 39 million. That's my guesstimation. But they're forecasting 32 million on investing.com, and what was the EPS again? That's Hexo there, yeah. So 32 million and negative 0.049, so negative 0.05 essentially. What is Hexo? What kind of drop on SPY would you be making for the next exit? Would have you making for the exit? Well, it depends, right? So we're still in weekly uptrend. So if SPY dropped and lost the weekly uptrend, that would definitely have me trimming some of my Hexo. I have some in a no-touch position that I'm literally not going to sell regardless of what happens. But I have some in my swing position that I'm swinging through earnings. And that's a fairly decent sized position somewhere, I plan on swinging somewhere around 2,000 to 5,000 shares through earnings, but that'll be my profits. And then I have my long-term no touch. But I've just been swinging it as well and just reloading cheaper. And now I'll be swinging my profits. So I would say the weekly higher low has to hold on SPY. That is absolutely crucial. And I believe that was 368 on SPY. Damn, I miss your info. Damn, I miss you. Well, I am in Hexo since December 2019, so I am used to the drops. Yeah. That's what market manipulators do, right? They drag it on for years. Like I showed you when SPY topped out in the .com bubble, that for 4 years we diverged on the monthly RSI, and they drug it on for 4 long years, right? And they were telling everybody, buy all these tech stocks. They were pumping it off. They were dishing it out to retail. And there's even articles, there's proof. I did a video, go to my channel and just put, type in reality check, the bubble burst. Let me just go, I'll bring it up here. .com bubble. POW group. Oops. There it is. So just how big can this bubble get? Check that out. Highly recommend it. So it could go on for another year. SPY could go up to 450, 500. Who knows? They could drag it out for another year, right? That's what they do. Is they either go a certain direction and the market can stay, rational longer than you can stay solvent. So it works on the way up and it works on the way down. They turn every bear into a bull and then they crash it, or they turn every bull into a bear and then they crash, and then they run it. So it's. Yeah, Hexo will be a money printing machine. Yeah, I don't think people understand. Like, people are really just putting their head in the sand. And I try a lot of products. I've tried pretty much every single cannabis beverage that there is to try. And the only ones I buy are Hexo. I buy the occasional Canopy one if they're on sale. But they're chock full of sugar, like 20 grams of sugar. It's like drinking a Pepsi, right? And it's just not enjoyable. I don't like sugary drinks like that anymore. And definitely with sitting at home all the time, not being able to leave our homes, I don't think anybody needs that much more sugar. By the time it hits news, it'll be 10x on my investment. Yep. Yeah, they're gonna pump it, and everybody is gonna be like, oh my God, like what, who's Hexo, right? And everybody's gonna be like, why were they bashing, and why are they talking about it like it's the next thing since sliced bread, right? It's going to be the next Tesla, I think, of the cannabis industry. It's just going to, all the analysts on Wall Street, if you remember about a year and a half ago, they're like, Tesla's the worst company ever. Tesla doesn't make any money. Sell Tesla. It's going to get squashed. Like, and now it's bigger than like, Honda and Toyota and all of them combined. And now everybody and their dog is, bullish on Tesla, sending out price targets galore. We're now gone up 5,000%. It's like, it's so obvious what they're doing. And that's why I have to, I started this channel just as a hobby, but it's awesome. It's like we get to finally get them back at their own game because the internet, and it's not like it used to be. It used to be you call your broker up on the phone and ask them to place a stock order for you, and by the end of the day, you'd own the stock, hopefully, if you had time to get to it. And now we get all this disposable of information. Like, you don't think the government knows? Like, why do you think I knew Biden was going to win? Because they're not going to let. Why would the United States of America let Canada, Mexico, France, Israel all legalize weed before them? Answer me that. You really think? And they deemed it an essential service during these uncertain times. So you really think for 1 second that they were going to let other countries, G7 countries and, the United Nations are all in on it pretty much. Cannabis is exploding over in London and Europe. So like I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's why I had no problem sleeping at night, because I had my money in HEXO. I was confident in HEXO, and I was confident in their U.S. Strategies and entry plan and execution plan. And once, like Sebastian St. Louis said, once they get that distribution channel built, you think the prices are cheap now. Wait until they get the volume and they get the mass distribution channel from Molson Coors, and they just turn that key. Just imagine a little box that says overdrive, right? Overdrive, distribution channel, overdrive button. And they say, okay, initiate 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom, HEXO all over the United States, all over Europe, all over Asia, all over South America. Like, are you starting to get the picture? All over the United States. I tried a Veryvel one. It was pretty good. Yeah, they are. The strawberry hibiscus one is really good. What else is good? The iced tea is good. The Veryvel brands in the U.S. look awesome. It's like blueberry lavender or something. Truss CBD US. Can't wait to try this. I think I'm going to go on a trip actually soon just to try. You got to do Colorado because they're only in Colorado. But I think I'm just going to take a weekend and just fly down here and just get a hotel, try some HEXO products, fly back on Sunday. Why not? Grapefruit, tarragon, sparkling water. Just make sure I'm pronouncing all of these correctly. Grapefruit, tarragon, sparkling water, strawberry hibiscus, sparkling CBD water. So they have that in Canada. It's pretty good. Blueberry lavender, sparkling CBD water. Yes, please. So they have, it's all about the experience, right? And that's what they're going after. So mind and body, focus, unwind. But can't wait to try those. Like I said, we already have that one here. But yeah, you can just go find a store and look at all the places. Bam! Bam! That's, woo! Wine and spirits, wine and spirits, wine and spirits. Wine and spirits. Wait until we have it everywhere in the States, and not just CBD. Wait till there's THC in it. Wait till that happens in Canada. Wait till you can go into the convenience store and buy it in a convenience store in Canada, just like booze. Open your mind and just really see. We are so in the beginning stages of this. Like, we've only scratched the surface. Looks like a Head and Shoulders. Yeah, it kind of does, but not really. What's going on here? I thought so too, but I think you're talking about the daily time frame. So you get the left shoulder, the head, but there's no real clear right shoulder, and the neckline doesn't line up. I wouldn't call it a head and shoulders. On the weekly, a little bit more on the weekly here. But again, we're upward sloping, so we could even just draw a little support line here. Well, looks like I already had one, but we'll just use the lows of those candles. So that'd be one way to play it as well. You set a stop below that uptrend line, right? Or maybe you scale in. Maybe if you're looking to get a position, we got 2 weeks, right? So a lot can happen in 2 weeks. So if you don't have any position now at all, SPY's still in a daily downtrend. We may see some further downside tomorrow. We close near the low of the day today in SPY. So if we do see more weakness and weekly consolidation, imagine if SPY consolidated all of next week. What would that look like in HEXO, right? And then SPY bounce the following week and then HEXO earnings come out. I'd like to see that personally. As much as I don't like seeing the share price go down, I'll buy more. Like I said, I had over 10,000 shares back here on the run up from down here to $11, and I scaled out some at 7, some at 8, some at 9, some at 10, some at 11, and then I started buying back in here around the I think it was close to EMA 12, and I started averaging in. So I bought I bought some around $7. So just slowly buying back in. I bought a little bit more today on the break of 7. And like I said, I had about 10,000 shares at one point. Now I've only got about 2,500 shares. So I'll add another 500 or 1,000. Maybe a couple thousand, depending on how much we drop tomorrow, if we do drop. '21 wave of weed merger. Yeah, if not already. I can imagine a 420 festival in every city, state, country. Yeah. Just everybody moloing out. Let's go. So I think we're pretty much due to wrap things up. It's Molo time. You're welcome. Yeah, they're in Quebec. Yeah, the strawberry one. Yeah, they're in Alberta as well. They've been here for a while. They don't have all of the ones like they do in the US. So they don't have like the blueberry lavender and the other one that I mentioned. Tarragon one. Yeah, that one. Grapefruit tarragon. All right. Looks like we're good in terms of questions. So yeah, we had a pretty good turnout here today. So thanks to everybody who joined on, and hopefully you found some valuable information in this video that you can apply to your own positions. And like I said, we've got about 2 weeks left before earnings, 2 weeks from tomorrow. So it gives you lots of time to develop a game plan. If you're not 100% sure, you'd like more help, or you want to come and trade with our community, it's literally all we do day in, day out, 24/7 is we have a group of technical analysts, traders, and investors that you can bounce ideas off of before you hit the buy or sell button. Again, we're not financial financial advisors. We're just investors and traders ourselves. So, we can give you what we would do in your situation, but we can't tell you to buy or sell. Ultimately, that decision is up to you, and you are responsible for 100% of the trades you make. So we do have a 1 week free trial as well, and that's going to the end of the month, and we'll definitely be ending it at the end of this month. We are seeing quite a bit of growth in the community. So just in order to make sure everybody has a good experience and we're able to, service everybody as best we can, we're just going to be ending that by the end of the month as well. So no credit card required. You can check it out. 7-day free trial. Come check us out. And we literally all day, every day, 24/7. If you have any questions, you can let us know. And we also do private live streams in the morning and before market open and before market close as well. So take care, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another daily market recap. Looks like we have a couple. Thanks, Rod. You're welcome. Question, I have a price point of $254 on HEX. However, I have calls for January 2022 for a $5 strike price on HEXO. That's in about 1 year. Would you sell the contracts or buy the shares? Might be worth more in 2 years. Yeah, so, I mean, it's a long dated call. I'm not sure how much you put into the call, but I mean, if you're only allocating, a small amount of capital on the calls, I wouldn't go heavy on the calls. Like for example, look at Riot. It's a blockchain stock. I bought at 50 cents. I bought $2 calls, and I think it was like I think I bought them in like February for like September or something, or like in the summertime. I bought $2 calls, and the stock went to like $70 or $80. It's like 150x from March. So not even a year and 150x. So you put you would have put $1,000 into Riot back in March, it'd be 150 grand less than a year later. It's insane. So yeah, like calls are great and all, but like, and I only had a little bit of cash into it. Whereas if I just would have put money in the common shares, that would have been the way to go. I don't have any calls at the moment. I was looking at calls for earnings and such. I was looking at selling puts, and then I was looking at buying some calls. But I think I'm just going to hold the common shares personally. I'm not a huge options trader myself. We've got some option traders in our group, but personally, it's not something that I don't really like betting, and I like value investing, and I like investing in companies with strong technicals and fundamentals, and I just like shorting and buying, going long common shares for the most part. My strategy is, price actions, trends, patterns and trends, and just looking at the overall most likely scenario and economic effects and correlations to markets and things like that. That's what I'm good at. So options is something that I want to do more trading with in 2021, but honestly, like my account's up over, 100%. My entire investment stock portfolio is up over 100% in the last year. So, that's life changing for me, and I don't really want to change much that I'm doing because it's been working. And to be honest, I haven't really made a whole lot of money off of options. And everybody's buying calls, and I think it's risky. The options market right now. Obviously, it depends on the type of stock. I think HEXO would be a safe bet. But again, it's a bet, right? So you're putting that money in. If you're buying a call, you could lose it all. So I definitely wouldn't be putting a large amount of capital into it. I'd be buying the shares. HEXO is something that I could own for the next 5, 10 plus years, right? So I would say common shares if it were me. That was amazing. Not sure what was amazing, but maybe you just mean the stream in general. If so, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, super grateful, and everybody on here in these streams is very well mannered and just very pleasant and easy to get along with. And it seems like we've got a pretty solid group of people here, and I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support, and if you can drop a like and subscribe, share with your friends and family. If I can help any more people in your network, then by all means. Like I said, check us out for a free trial too. I highly doubt you'd regret it. Personally, I started the community as my own type of, it was for my own benefit, really, just to use it myself. And I didn't even really have that many members, a few months ago. And it's just something that I started off as a hobby. And then we built an algorithm into our Slack community as well. We've got a POW bot, so we automatically pull a ton of news in as well, and just a really great group of people, and super grateful for the community and the support, and looking forward to the next 6 months, 12 months. Like I said, the whole purpose of this channel and the name of the channel, Pursuit of Wealth, is to help other people do the same. In the last few years, I've been able to basically, take control of my finances, and I'm basically financially free. and I have a lot to owe to the stock market. And I wasn't always that great at trading stocks or crypto. When I first started, I was terrible. I borrowed money off a line of credit. Don't do that. Very, very, very bad idea. And I ended up losing about 50% of that. And then I just, I was like, screw this, you're all disgruntled and upset. And I even cashed my money out of my accounts, and I took a long time off. And that was like, a few years ago. And I didn't do any trading essentially. And just within the last year, it's been a journey. So, and that's why I called it the pursuit of wealth, right? It's not just being, you need to look after yourself as well. So it was clearly me. I needed to get some things right up in here, right? And then come back. And then I was able to apply and learn and learn while I earn. So, that was very, very key, that I was just, not doing enough research, and it took me, a solid 4 years to get the hang of it. But again, that's the beauty of joining a community. I'm working on a course here as well, a free course. So you can go to palgroup.ca or pursuitofwealthgroup.com. You can check out our 1 week free trial, but there's also an academy button there at the top, or you can scroll down and you can click the academy link, and you can check the getting started training there on that page. It's free. You can enroll now. And like I said, limited seating, so you can enroll there for free. You can see the curriculum as well, so what you can expect. And we may add a few other things like hedging and things like that, but then we'll be having a more advanced course for a little bit more advanced traders, and then we'll be doing an advanced course for the really advanced traders. So we'll do a level 1 and a level 2 shortly after that. But my throat is dry. I need some Molos and some water, and it's been a slice. Had a lot of fun today. So just as a reminder, shifting up the format a little bit, I'm going to be doing some live streams right after market close. I'll do a live stream usually with the MJ space and then the overall broader market, and then I'll do a stock of the day video later on as well, just to keep everything a little bit separate and to interact a little bit more with you folks. Try to keep the streams a little shorter today, obviously over an hour now, and appreciate you guys hanging out for me here with me this afternoon and this evening, wherever you are. Morning time, who knows? But yeah, I appreciate it, and we'll try to keep it a little shorter. But again, I know everybody super, anxious about HEXO earnings with good reason, and just wanted to spend a little extra time making sure you guys got the value, and we're all prepared going into earnings. So one more great update. Thank you very much. I love your products, by the way, Neven. If anybody wants, vegan, cruelty-free hair products, highly recommend Neven. They're based out of Alberta, and yeah, they've got tons of different products. I think they have like 8 or 10 different SKUs, and they've got everything that you could possibly need. I use it on my hair, and I love it. So shout out to Neven. Thanks for joining us here today. Thanks everybody else who joined the stream. We're going to leave it there, and we will see you tomorrow after market close. Thanks for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. Take care, everybody.